Hey, and welcome to Glaring Admissions, a show dedicated to watching and discussing iconic movies that either myself or my co-host Raekwon have missed before. On today's episode, we're talking about the 2001 motion picture Mulholland Drive, directed by David Lynch.
You okay?
There was an accident.
I don't know what my name is. This is your purse. Your name must be in your purse.
The girl is still missing.
Mulholland Drive. Maybe that's where the accident was. There must be a police report we could call. We'll pretend to be someone else. Come on, it'll be just like in the movies.
This is the girl.
Go with me somewhere.
Il n'est pas d'orchestra.
Silencio. Silencio. Silencio.
Okay, so Raekwon, this was your first time watching Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, pretty crazy, right?
Very crazy.
Yeah.
And seeing as this was one of my favorite movies of all time, it's in my Letterboxd top 4. I watch it every year or two. I gotta ask, how confused are you right now?
After a few videos on YouTube, I am still just as confused as but I don't think I am confused as much as I am left with a lot of questions unanswered.
That's the most pedantic thing I've ever.
Yeah,
I'm not confused.
I'm not confused. I just don't know what's going on. I don't know anything.
I guess one thing that might be constructive for us to do right now is to approach this a bit differently from other things. First, let's talk about Mulholland Drive and what it is. Okay. So Mulholland Drive is a David Lynch movie. The idea was he was going to make another show with ABC who, aired Twin Peaks back in the day. It didn't work out. He shot a pilot. He gave it to them. They hated it. According to the story, the executive who turned down Mulholland Drive stood up and watched the pilot one day before work. And then David Lynch just was told, yeah, you got to take this somewhere else. It's boring. It's confusing. We don't want it. So he did. He shot the pilot, I believe was $7 or $8 million. And then he got more money from, I want to say Studio Canal. And they gave him an extra $7 million just to finish the movie. So he did. And it became a feature film that is widely considered the best movie of the century so far. So yes, Mulholland Drive, TV show turned movie, turned Raekwon's Moby Dick, his white whale, his whatever.
Yeah. I definitely, before we talked about the movie, because we wanted to not talk about the movie really, and you had texted me, try not to look up anything on the movie beforehand.
I basically gave you Tyler Durden's rules of Fight Club. Rule number 1, you do not Google Mulholland Drive information. Rule number 2, you do not Google Mulholland Drive information.
And I didn't.
Bullshit, you didn't?
I didn't, not beforehand.
I meant in general.
Well, right after I finished the movie, I was like, okay, I got to look up a video on how someone's interpretation of the ending or something, because by the end of it, I was like, okay, well, some things make sense, but for this to make sense, then this doesn't really make sense. Mm-hmm. So it was just all right, I'm still left with the same unanswered questions there.
So are you familiar with David Lynch? I'm going to sound like every guy talking to a girl at a bar. So what do you know about David Lynch? You see David Lynch before? Are you really a David Lynch fan?
I am a David Lynch, I don't know, I guess you could say admirer or something, because you are a big fan. And of course I'm
as evidenced by the Mulholland Drive t-shirt.
It's a good shirt.
Several Blu-rays behind me.
But yeah.
Life-size bust of Kyle MacLachlan's face in my closet. It's just Hey Arnold. The Olga
oh my God.
Arnold thing made out of gum.
Yeah, so I would consider myself I admire the work. I'm just a fan of very specific choices. And he seems like a very stylistic director, you know. I've known of the themes of David Lynch just from like the memes or whatever, and knowing you and having seen like an episode or two of Twin Peaks.
That's right. That's right. I showed you the pilot to Twin Peaks a few years ago.
And then I went home and watched I think I watched like 2 more episodes after that. But yeah, so, you know, what I know of David Lynch, a lot of symbolism, sort of like an unsettling feeling to a lot of his work, but not really familiar with a lot, you know, his filmography. But
so you haven't seen, like, I know obviously you just said you saw the pilot to Twin Peaks and a few episodes, but like you haven't actually seen a David Lynch movie before. This was your first one.
No, I haven't.
Amazing. I was hoping that would be the case because I love, okay, this is the part where I tell you my story with David Lynch. I had this friend in high school named Chris, who's a huge Lynch head. And he got us all into David Lynch, like Eraserhead, Twin Peaks, Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet. And I had seen the works I just listed, but Mulholland Drive was like the one that made it like really click for me. Like I was into Twin Peaks, but then I saw Mulholland Drive and I was just like, this is the one. This is the girl, you know? We'll just cut to a bunch of characters saying that now really quickly.
Like he said the thing.
This is the girl. This is the girl.
This is the girl.
So this was the one that clicked for me.
Yeah.
And ever since then, every time I've met somebody who's into film but hasn't seen Lynch, it has been my like mission to introduce them with Mulholland Drive. Because I'm just like, guys, you will be so lost and just let it wash over you. Let the sensation of not knowing, like, let that just, you know, permeate through you. I almost said penetrate, and then I was like, that's way too sexually aggressive.
Let David Lynch penetrate you.
No, not that. Oh
That's
my
what
God.
you said.
I'm not nervously breaking out into a sweat. It's that we don't have an air conditioner on right now. I swear.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
The thought of David Lynch penetrating you doesn't make you sweat. It makes me a little nervous.
Oh my God. Buy me some black coffee first, David.
Oh, good.
No, but it seriously, it's been my like life's pursuit to be the guy who gets everyone into Mulholland Drive. So you, one of my ex-girlfriends had seen Twin Peaks, loved Twin Peaks, never saw a Lynch movie. Got her into Mulholland Drive, and it went about as well as you'd imagine it did. So I love me some David Lynch. And I'm so happy that you're lost and confused. I'll overlook the fact that you broke your promise to me. You broke the first 2 rules of
I didn't
Glaring
break my
Admissions
promise.
Club.
I didn't.
Oh, don't
break my
gaslight me.
promise.
You broke your promise.
I supposed
You took
to?
your Glaring Admissions wedding band and you were just like, fuck this. And you threw it into a sewer grate. You didn't even like leave it on the floor. You just threw it into a sewer grate.
It's more
Talking
spiteful.
turtles and like a anthropomorphic rat person are going to find that shit now.
Man, I didn't break my promise. I thought the promise was to not look up anything beforehand. Like, and that's what I didn't do. And you know, I didn't have any Wi-Fi for a while. So I watched the movie last night. So if I would have seen it when I had planned to, like a couple days before now, I would probably watch this like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like easy. No videos, no video essays needed.
You would have blacklisted the words twin perfect from your YouTube search history. I already gave you like a lecture about that video.
I did watch that one though. Yeah.
You did. It was too late. It's did you ever see that meme of the Looney Tunes sitcom from like 10 years ago where it's Daffy running through a mall and he's screaming, "Turn off the water! Turn off the water!"
No.
Okay, well that would have been that.
Turn off the water! Turn off the water! Turn off the water! Stop!
POV, Nick is trying to tell Raekwon not to watch Twin Perfect. But okay, that's fine. But for what it's worth, it is fine. When I first saw Mulholland Drive, I was so lost that I ended up reading a bunch of stuff about it. It's just a part of watching a movie. But no, the reason I didn't want you to was because David Lynch as a director is all about the interpretation of it. And I didn't want you to like subscribe to something specific. You know, I wanted you to just be like, I wanted to know what you thought happened. Maybe that's the best way to approach actually entering our discussion of the movie itself. Like, what the fuck happened?
So you're going to have to probably correct me along the way.
I'll tell you my interpretation afterwards.
Okay, so I don't know where to start. Should I start at the end?
No, yeah, like what do you think happened?
Okay, what do I think happened?
Okay, spoiler alert for everybody, you know. But
Yeah, spoiler alert. So when I finished the movie and I texted you like, "Wow, what a movie" or whatever, I think that's literally what I said.
you said, and then I sent you a picture of Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, yo, the brain rot is real because when I did that, you know the sound of like the boom sound,
the vine boom.
Yeah, when like I just immediately thought
I'll superimpose Martin Scorsese into the center of the shot right now.
Like
yeah.
So what I think happened, and my thought hasn't changed from watching the videos that I saw, because I watched like 3 or 4 videos and the opinions were different on 2 of them. I did think the basic thing that happened, which was like all of it is a dream, and in the end, Diane kills herself. That's like
Diane being Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
That's basically what I thought by the end of it. The things that confused me about the movie were the other characters and their significance. Like when you could tell it was still a pilot, when they like the Hollywood guys and like all that stuff. Like I was just like, okay, what was all that? Was that all part of the dream? Like what part was the dream? What was real?
Oh, okay. I see what. So you thought that parts of the first hour and a half of the movie were real and fake?
Yeah. I thought that the audition was real at first. I thought that what's his name? Andy?
Justin Theroux. Yeah.
Justin Theroux's character. His character just confused me, because after Justin Theroux and Naomi Watts see each other for the first time in that audition thing,
yeah,
you never see him again after that. So
well, you see him at the end of the movie, but in the dream, you never see him again.
You see him, when do you see him at the end of the movie?
He's dating Camilla. They announced they're getting engaged, or that they're engaged to be married.
Oh yeah, that. But that was okay. I know.
Do you want me to just?
This is all over the place.
You want me to just like jump in and tell you it, or no?
Well, what did I say? What I think happened.
Parts of the first hour and a half are a dream, and parts of it are reality. That's what you said.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going on. It's like, okay, by the end of it, I'm like, okay, she shoots herself because she can't face the reality, basically, of what she ended up doing, which is putting a hit out on Camilla, the real Camilla.
Yeah.
And, clean cut ending. Besides, all the symbolism didn't really confuse me. What was confusing me was what is real and what's fake. And was it a dream in the beginning when she got there, and it was like, oh, Hollywood, oh my, what'd you say?
I called the character of Betsie so G shucks.
Yeah, the G Willikers of it all. Like, oh my God, like I can't believe it. And even in the very beginning when she had gotten there, the thing that stood out to me was her clothes. Like she was wearing like a pink cardigan or something, and it was like sparkly, and it was
hyper saturated.
Yeah, it was like super bright, and see the Los Angeles sign. I was like, oh, okay, like this, what kind of movie is this? And then it slowly gets like weirder.
It wasn't what you were expecting from David Lynch, I take it?
Not at all, no.
Okay. So first off, that's very Lynchian. Lynch loves his like 50s motifs. I told you he's like as Americana as they get. But in all of his works, he also delves into like the deeper underbelly of Americana. So like Blue Velvet is this very American town, very American skippery guy played by Kyle MacLachlan, and it exposes the complicated underbelly, and it kind of like rips the American dream open and says this is what it's actually like.
Right.
In Mulholland Drive, you're kind of right. Like, obviously, part of the movie is a dream. But the mistake... Okay, I'm not going to call it a mistake, because Lynch is all about interpretation. But the thing that you kind of, I think, maybe missed is... the whole pilot, the whole hour and a half, up until Rita opens the blue box and falls into it. All of it is a dream. All of the characters that appear and disappear through it are... these parts of the dreamer, Diane Selwyn, who is the Naomi Watts character. And the reason why all of these people are familiar faces to her is because she had just seen them the night before or whatever.
So after watching several videos about it, like that's what they did say.
That's what they say. Yeah.
Yeah. When I watched it for the first time, I was just like, okay, so that was a dream, but was the beginning real or was this part real? But
there is a tell in the beginning, by the way. I don't think I ever like rationally, maybe it's because this is the first time I've like sat down to really watch it for something.
mm-hmm.
But the tell in the beginning is it opens with the jitterbug contest, the people dancing.
Yep.
And that's the jitterbug contest that Diane mentions at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm. The one that inspired her to begin acting.
Inspired insofar as it just sent her to Hollywood.
I won this jitterbug contest. That sort of led to acting.
That's there. But also right before we see Rita almost die in the car crash and stuff, we actually do get a shot of Diane in bed falling asleep.
Yeah, the pillow, right?
Yeah.
Falling into the, and I wouldn't have thought about it at all, but like the color red is like a thing that appears a lot in the movie.
Well,
Red
that's also
lampshade.
that's Lynch baby. As I told you, I'll say many times
that's Lynch
today.
baby.
That's Lynch baby. Lynch loves his red curtains.
But I can't believe it didn't even register seeing that. Like literally like someone's point of view of them getting into bed and falling asleep, then dream happens. But what kind of gave it away a little bit that it was all a dream was that when they get close to solving the damn thing and they get the blue key right, and then Betty disappears.
Yeah, Betty just completely vanishes.
Just gone. And it made me think like, who's the dead one? I automatically got to like, the
you
classic.
jumped there.
Yeah, I thought Betty may have been the dead one, or maybe Rita's been dead the whole time because of the car crash, but it wasn't because of the car crash.
I think you're thinking of David Lynch's The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, literally, like, because I've just been, all that kind of stuff's been shoved down your throat of like someone being dead the whole time or whatever. And
it's interesting. Sorry to cut you off, but it's just such a fascinating thing. Lynch has this not obsession, but he very strongly believes that like we live in a dream kind of, and he talks about it all the time. He's like, oh, we live in the big dream and we gotta meditate and all this shit. And it's one of those things where you just have to be like, okay, everything in Lynch is up for grabs. Nothing is real until you're told whether or not it's real.
And you're not really.
And Lynch doesn't really talk about his shit like that, So there's also something to be said about like, and this is kind of the only thing you pick up if you've seen the movie a few times. There's several moments that I feel like almost hint that Diane is about to wake up from the dream, or that she's becoming conscious that she's in a dream. Stuff like the scene at Winkies, shout out Winkies. I almost wish the TV show became like, I wish the show got greenlit just so we could get more Winkies.
Yeah.
I just love that place. It's no Double R Diner, but it's just cool. Shout out Winkies. There's a moment there where I'm getting all the names, Betsie.
Yeah.
There's a moment where Betsie looks at their server who's named Diane. And she gives her this look of acknowledgement because she realizes that's her. And it's such a great little moment, especially because later in the movie, they play off of it by having the same server come by in the real world, and her name is Betsie.
Betty.
Have I been saying Betsie?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Betty. Whatever. Naomi Watts. The name tag said Naomi Watts, didn't it?
Right. Yeah.
We'll just Photoshop that in.
Naomi Watts.
Nicole Kidman's BFF. Also, the Club Silencio scene when the person is like singing and all that stuff, and you have Betty convulsing in the chair momentarily. It also feels like, oh, it's kind of like you're being woken up from a dream. You're being so moved. I don't know if you've ever had that happen to you where you realize you're dreaming and the dream like becomes unstable. Yeah. So that's a thing that like happens to some people. It's happened to me before where like, oh, fuck, I'm dreaming. And then you try to stay asleep, but you're woken up.
Yeah.
So I love all the little details like that. And those are like the little hints. Something is off.
There were several moments like that where like when she saw Justin Theroux's character for the first time, when they see each other, she just takes off. She's like, oh, I got to be somewhere. After seeing it, I'm like, wait, was he real or whatever? But then thinking about that moment, it's like, was that another like sobering moment for her where she's seeing this person that
she's
like,
remembering something from her waking life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that could entirely be it because she immediately remembers that she has to go take care of Rita.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's things like that. And it's, by the way, that scene is fantastic. Like, man, when Lynch wants to use cinematic language, he does.
Yep.
You know, the slow push in on them, the close-ups to the eyes, the 50s music. Can you tell this is like my favorite Lynch movie?
This is a good fucking movie.
It was.
I think beyond the like anything that leaves it up for interpretation, like I think we talked before how Lynch said that people have no issue with music being up for interpretation. It's just like an experience that you have and then that's it. You don't need a clear cut and dry. Yeah. This is what this song is or this album is. But people don't like that for movies.
It's true. And yeah, no, we said that before we hit record, but no, it's very true. And that's why the thing I love about Lynch, it also completely bugs me to hell about, like, it bugs me about the guy, admittedly, but like, I do have a lot of respect for a guy who just lets the work speak for itself. I think there is an interview where someone's like, why don't you explain the movie? And Lynch is just kind of like, well, the movie is the explanation.
The film is the thing. You work so hard to get, after the ideas come, to get this thing built, all the elements to feel correct, the whole to feel correct, in this beautiful language called cinema. And the second it's finished, people want you to change it back into words.
Sometimes you just have to feel something. And
yeah, but I did want to talk about the message, not to get like deep into it.
No, let's hear it.
Something that I didn't hear in any of the videos that I saw after was like with Silencio, Club Silencio, and how Rita is woken up from like a trance for Diane to take her to Silencio. And that was it was so heavy on the, they say Silencio so much and everything. I kept thinking like, okay, the meaning of this is the silencing of women, like in Hollywood. They kind of like, okay, how do you feel about the casting couch theory? Like, have you heard about that? Like with this movie?
No, I haven't heard this theory. For what it's worth, I read about Mulholland Drive 10 years ago.
Okay.
And then like every subsequent viewing has just been like, what can Nick cook up this time?
I was curious about what the theories people had about this were.
Yeah.
But the casting couch thing is basically like Diane did actually come to Hollywood to become an actress because of Junebug or the Junebug dance thing competition. Jitterbug. I said Junebug. Maybe she was like this bright-eyed girl coming to Hollywood with like this dream.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And she didn't actually die. It was just like a symbolism for her innocence dying.
Oh, you mean the dead body in the dream?
Yeah.
Okay. I could see that. Honestly, I just thought the dead body was a dead body because they couldn't show Diane because like Naomi Watts is dying. It's just like, it's the death of ego. It's she wants to die. It's she's thinking about killing herself for what she did to Rita.
Yeah.
Like I didn't view it as like a metaphorical death so much as like, no, the movie ends, spoiler alert, with Naomi Watts like blasting her face off, So I just figured like, oh, she's already so racked with guilt over killing the love of her life that she's like thinking about it.
Yeah. So someone had given this whole, spiel about how the reason that she didn't have the same reaction that Rita did seeing the dead body.
Because she knew
that she was already thinking about killing herself. Like,
exactly.
But the casting couch thing was just like the real two actresses, Camilla Rhodes, Rita. Camilla Rhodes and Rita, and then Diane and Betty. Camilla was like progressing through Hollywood by using her sexuality, quote unquote, whatever. And in the dream, the reason that she like nails this part in the audition or whatever is because she like heightens up the sexuality a little bit more. There's a lot of fucking fan theories out there. Some people think Camilla didn't even exist and that this is just like an alternate version of her. And
what movie did some of these people see?
Dude, like I think
I'm not saying you shouldn't have your own take on a movie regardless of whether or not it's bad, because I have bad takes on movies. My theory for Fight Club is that Tyler Durden is the real person and the Ed Norton character is the imaginary one. And it's a bad take, and I know there's a lot of things contrary to that. But I just think it's a more compelling story to have a sociopathic fascist have this small sense of guilt that's personified as this unnamed protagonist, this little person he's trying to help. I think that's more compelling than, you know what I mean?
Than the other way around.
Yeah.
I think that is more compelling.
So,
This is more interesting.
It's just like, the thing is, okay, movies are about having fun or kind of working out some part of your brain creatively.
Yeah.
And so I'm fine with that. And if people want to believe that Camilla Rhodes doesn't exist, more power to them.
That doesn't make sense, really, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, because we see her.
Yeah, the
Literally.
real her.
Even the theory you were talking about, the casting couch and stuff.
Yeah, like her innocence being the one that's
it's good.
dead.
It's not a bad theory. Maybe a little sexist somewhere in there. I don't know. But like, this is the first time I'm hearing it, so I don't have the time to think about it.
It was just like the part that the person was reading into was her locking eyes with that exec from the beginning of the movie, and they have like a weird exchange
when they're doing the audition.
No, at the dinner party when Camilla and Justin Theroux's character announced their engagement.
I honestly just thought that was her, like, she happened to fixate on his face, which is why he appeared in the dream. Because like that dinner scene happens before the dream.
Yeah.
You know, that's a flashback. So that was kind of like how I viewed it. But no, it's interesting. And this is like the beautiful thing about film. And this is why I love that David Lynch doesn't like
talk about
he doesn't explain this shit to anybody. And I just like, I respect that. But the whole thing there, I never got that. I just never.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Like, but also like the idea of like, oh, she turned on her sexuality to kill that audition. It's like, well, the scene is played sexual. Like, I don't know if she turned it on so much as she did the homework. You know, we saw her do the scene with Rita earlier in the film, and it was awful. It was stagey. It was stiff. And then she heard the guy complain about those exact qualities, and she saw him hit on her. And she played into that. I guess I kind of see it, but I always read that scene a little differently. Like I watched it and then I rewound the movie, and I watched it under the subtext of this is a woman who has just agreed to kill the person she loves in the real world. And she's talking about like, I'm going to call the police. They'll take you away. I'll kill you if you don't leave. To me, it was just her feeling guilt for what she did. And that's why she's playing it so close. And that's why there's so much sexual energy to it. It's because she's in love with Laura Harring's character. And she is in love and she's manifesting that, but she's also revolted by what she's done. And I also thought maybe it's like a hint that her character might be gay, like not bisexual, but explicitly gay, because when she's playing the scene with the guy and she's like sexing it up, she does have a tangible disgust. Where she has her fist clenched while she's talking to him. She takes his hand to grab her like thigh, she does it with a lot of hesitance, which could be read as like, this is disgusting. I can't believe I'm selling out for a role. But she never expresses guilt over that later. So I just read it as, no, this moment is disgusting to me because I'm not attracted to this person.
So the audition was like that seemed pretty dreamlike too.
Yeah, the whole thing does.
It was, but like, it just felt that way because it was just like too perfect. And like, it just went so well. Yeah. And that was one of those moments where I was like, there's something going on here. Just another like,
there's something about Naomi Watts. My favorite Ben Stiller vehicle.
There's something about Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
Her whole name.
This is the whole movie. There's something about Naomi Watts.
It's the only words in the movie. Yeah. But what was I going to say about the...
I think you were going to say that there's something about Naomi Watts' cinema.
Did you think about the hitman, the scene where he killed 2 extra people on accident? Like, was that Naomi Watts trying to convince herself
that he can't do it,
that he didn't do it, and that she's still alive?
Yeah, that was what I got by the end of things. Like, oh, he's such a fucking inept, like he's so bad at his job.
Yeah.
That maybe he didn't kill her successfully.
And then she's like, well, maybe she's alive. Like, she could be alive. He is such a klutz that maybe he didn't pull it off. You know,
Maybe.
I didn't even get that watching it for the first time. But watching that scene, I'm like, like,
I loved that scene. First off, I have a theory for why everything is so weird, other than Lynch, because that's such a cop-out answer. Yeah, of course everything's weird because Lynch. What's next? Wes Anderson has a weird thing for symmetry in his shots. Like, no, like, I actually like to think that everyone is so stilted and strange because, one, it's a dream, so of course they are. But two, Lynch. But three, Raekwon, and this is the important one, Holly weird. How do we know this isn't the janitor's first time witnessing some shit like this? Guy looks like he's worked there a while. He's probably seen this before.
Yeah, which is even weirder for him to have walked
go in
there. Like,
man, I said he'd seen it before, not that he could live with it. But yeah, that was a good point you raised about the hitman being incompetent.
I just thought that's just how he was, and I was just kind of confused by it. And the black book threw me off, like him being there for that. But more dream shit, because when she saw him in real life, he had that black book on the table. So it's like what you said before. All the people that we see in the dream sequence are people that she's seen briefly in real life.
Yeah, which is how dreams work.
Yeah,
you know, like you pass someone on the street, and then your brain just catalogs their face for future, like, yeah, this person's going to call you a dick in a dream someday. I hate that dream so much. It's so annoying. Okay, you would not believe how often I have that dream, Raekwon.
Someone just calls you a dick.
I'm minding my own business. I'm playing Mario Kart as one does when they're dreaming, and someone walks in, they're like, you fucking dick. I'm like, what did I do to you?
And then you just wake up out of your dream.
I wake up and I'm like, what? 3 or 4 days later, man, different person. Same game, still playing Mario Kart. Person comes in, you fucking dick. I'm like, what did I do to you?
Do you know that commercial? I think it was like a NBA playoffs commercial.
Oh, don't get me started on the NBA playoffs. Courtside seats. We're watching our boys, the Knicks, finally get their shit together. And then suddenly, the 1986 Mets show up.
Oh.
Keith Hernandez, Mookie Wilson. They call me a dick.
You deserved it for being a Knicks fan. You can bleep this if you want, but fuck the Knicks. Fuck the Knicks.
Yeah, you're a 76ers guy. You would say that.
Yeah, of course. Fuck the Knicks.
In all seriousness.
Yeah.
You can call me a dick. I'm waiting for it.
You're a dick. Nick. Okay,
so anyway, Mulholland Drive. We're going to talk about this later. I didn't think you'd actually do it. Is this a dream? You hear the Inception. And then suddenly...
This is red.
Oh, I thought you were pointing at the cutout of Martin Scorsese. I'm going to leave superimposed here. No. All of our wide shots for this episode just have Martin Scorsese.
It's still here. It's like, oh.
It explains. Oh!
No, the couch is red. You're dreaming, dude.
What do you think Martin Scorsese does when you eat too much of his popcorn? Like, he gets the large and he's like, you guys can, we could share a little bit. You take one scoop too many, he's just like, you know.
God damn it.
This has gone completely off the rails. I'm melting without air conditioning. And we've barely talked about Mulholland Drive.
We've talked about it. Well, okay. Well, I just want to say something. This is what I think what happened in Mulholland Drive. Diane moves to Hollywood. Camilla likes Diane, and Diane likes Camilla. They have a little fling going on. Camilla then gets with
Justin Theroux.
And her seeing Justin Theroux and Camilla together sends her into a rage. This happening then prompts her to hire a hitman to kill Camilla. Very, very exaggerated jump, you know, but
that's Lynch, baby.
Camilla is dead. Diane receives the calling card of the hitman, signifying that Camilla, the deed is done.
Yeah, you're right. And then Naomi pumps 500 watts of electricity into her head, metaphorically speaking.
Yep. End of movie.
Yeah, I think that's basically
it. That's what I got from it, even though, you know, people may feel like there's other things to whatever, but...
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. That is exactly it.
Okay.
And I think that the people who try to read past that are right to do so. That is the point of art. Like, cinema type art. You're there to, I waved it in front of Scorsese. No, like that's the point of it. You're there. It's a Rorschach test. It's supposed to tell you something about yourself, the kind of stories you like. But I think like also cut and dry. The movie isn't as confusing as people make it out to be. I can't believe it took us like an hour to say that, but
Yeah.
it really is true. I think by the time it's edited, it'll be like 45 minutes, half an hour. But
Damn.
we cut a lot.
Yeah. Wow.
Like I do think that Lynch can be a lot more straightforward than people make it out to be. That said, there's also stuff like Inland Empire, which is like, I've only seen it twice and I need a few more go rounds on that merry-go-round. But like, Lynch is, it's whatever you want it to be. That's Lynch, baby.
So
I'm going to keep saying that.
That's Lynch, baby. That's showbiz, baby.
I want like a baby Muppets for David Lynch moment. And that could just absolutely be the name of it. That's Lynch, baby. And it's a little baby David Lynch. He's smoking a cigarette. He's got a black cup of coffee and he's crawling on all fours. Damn it. Baby Lynch shit himself again. I made it for you. I saw the look of disgust on your face the last time you changed me. And I figured it was a teachable moment.
I just realized something that you said about me watching the movie without looking anything up beforehand, letting it wash over you. Yeah. But that's what Lynch said in that Family Guy clip.
Yeah.
Where he's like, don't look away, let the fear wash over you.
I got you a present. It's a thumb. Don't look away. Let the fear wash over you.
I don't understand.
That's the whole point.
But it's so true. That's like the secret to watching a David Lynch movie. Don't overthink it. Mm-hmm. Just let it wash over you.
Oh yeah, surprised I had never seen this because I've heard about it. Even in like pop culture, I've heard it referenced before. I watch other people review movies or like talk about movies and stuff, and this is a lot of people's best movie ever.
Yeah,
best movie all time. Like it's like
like I said, it's in my Letterboxd top 4, comfortably there too. Like,
what else is in there?
Off the top of my head, are we doing this? Do I need to hold the lav mic like it's a microphone?
Mulholland Drive, Ed Wood.
Okay, wait, we're going to do this. We're going to do a Letterboxd top 4 video. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, so here, you hold this out to me and you ask me what my Letterboxd top 4 are.
All right, guys, so we're here on the red couch and I'm here with Nick. I got one question for you. What is your Letterboxd top 4?
Oh, I should have known you were going to do this to me today. Okay, so probably Mulholland Drive, fantastic film, David Lynch, good, yeah. Next up, we have Trainspotting. I'm going to not break eye contact with the camera while I do this.
Nice.
And followed by Trainspotting, and what was the other one? Mulholland Drive. Oh, geez, Back to the Future. Back to the Future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good list.
Thank you.
Would you have what about if you had a top 5? What would be in that
I didn't
fifth
finish
spot?
yet.
Oh, okay.
I was letting you talk.
If you had a top 5, what would be that 5th movie in that list?
Sorry, Martin Scorsese. The 5th one would probably be Eyes Wide Shut, but you didn't ask me for number 4 yet. It's Back to the Future. No, I said that. Before Sunrise.
You named 5 already, so that's 6 movies.
No, I said Mulholland Drive, Trainspotting, Back to the Future,
Ed Wood.
Before Sunrise. Oh, I didn't say Ed Wood.
Yeah, I said Ed Wood then.
You said Ed Wood.
I said Ed Wood.
I think Ed Wood is there instead of Trainspotting.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
Anyway,
I know you better than you know yourself.
Bit over.
Bit done. You know what's actually in my top 4 on Letterboxd?
What?
I just treated it like a joke because I couldn't think of anything on the spot when I was making my account.
This cable properly.
I was making my account and I'm like, let me just pick movies that come to mind. It got real dark. It was Ali, which is actually in there, the Ali biopic. Fucking Zoolander. It legit is one of my favorite comedies, but not in my top.
Valid.
Yeah, wouldn't be in my top 4 movies ever, but one of my favorite comedies. Damn, now I can't think of the other two. But it was just like whatever came to mind. Oh, Truman Show, which would probably be sliding at like top 10-ish.
Yeah. I think Truman Show's dropped. I rewatched it recently, and it's good, but probably top 20 range.
Top 20?
Yeah, it probably slid out of the top 10.
Yeah, I think it was one of the early ones, like when I was first getting into movies.
It's like intro to film.
Yeah.
Favorite movie.
It was like in like high school. I think like my mom told me about the movie or something, and we watched it together. So I had like a good memory of watching that movie for the first time, but it probably, if I watched it now, I think it would slide too. That's why I said it'd probably be like top 10 or something now.
But no, to piggyback off of your thing, you were talking about like it's a lot of people's favorites. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing for me. It's the movie that like I was into David Lynch, but this is the movie that pushed me into like, oh, this guy, I fuck with this guy. Like to the point where I've done cringy things. Like I have a professional website. I won't be dropping the link here. And in the About Me page when I was in college, they were like, you talk about your influences and like this, sell yourself. And it's like, oh, if you want to know the type of movies I like, Richard Linklater and David Lynch are my two guys, which is still true to this day. They're my two favorite directors. And ironically, they're very similar directors. Stylistically, they couldn't be more different. But they're both directors that are fascinated with like looking at life and being just endlessly tickled by the little minutia of life. You know, Dale Cooper is the guy who's like bewildered at the type of trees in Twin Peaks. And likewise, like the traditional Richard Linklater is like this kind of introspected guy. He's also just like weirdly into baseball, which helps.
I think you saying Linklater, I think that I had Boyhood in my top 4.
No, dude, Boyhood's great.
It is great.
It's a great movie.
I think that was the last one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to actually make my top 4.
Yeah. So one thing that I really wanted to talk about in regards to this movie has to be also the fact that it was a pilot at one point.
Yeah.
Because this was something I asked you to do. I asked you to try and pinpoint the moment it goes from the pilot to the newly shot stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about calling that?
The point where I saw a difference was the first time that we see the hitman in the office of the guy that he killed when the killing happens.
Okay. Wow, that's early.
That's when I thought that it was not the pilot anymore.
No.
When was it?
Everything in the movie up until they put the wig on Rita, it's basically the pilot. Like some scenes are truncated, some scenes are omitted, but it's basically the pilot.
Damn. I should have put a timestamp on it when we see the hitman killing the...
There's like 20 or 30 minutes in only.
Really? I thought it was like at least like 40 something.
No.
But yeah, that's when I thought that was like, okay, we switched over now. So everything up until... So even her in the sink with the knife and she's like, let me do it.
Yeah.
And when the wig's on...
The episode literally ends with the wig on her.
Wow. Okay.
And that's why we were talking about like how sexualized this, like just how like, not sexualized, but how like risque the sex scene was. That's why it's so risque. It's because it was never going to be shown on TV. It was shot months later.
That scene was crazy. That was a wild scene.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty risque. But you as a Lynch fan, you said that's like a theme in his movies too, though.
That's Lynch, baby.
That's Lynch, baby. I'm trying to set you up for that as much as I can.
No, please don't.
It's like 10 more times.
Someone's going to complain like, man, why does he keep saying that?
That's Lynch, baby.
It's Lynch, baby.
That's why he says it.
It's glaring admissions, baby. No, but like that, yeah, like legitimately. That's why it becomes like so like you see a lot of nudity right after that moment, literally.
There's like a lot more...
Also, I feel like it's like a good excuse to have it happen after the wig stuff because Rita has cut her hair. So maybe for Laura Harring, it was just like, hey, continuity, easier.
Let me ask you something. So you just rewatched it too.
Yeah.
Rita's character, when we see her all the way up until we find out who Camilla is, right? Do you think it was a choice? Her makeup was a choice when she was like Rita?
What do you mean?
Because when she was Rita, like all throughout the beginning of the movie, I don't know the word, but she looked like paler. Like her makeup was like much brighter and it looked more natural when she was Camilla to me.
Well, okay. So Yeah, I think that this is where it kind of, we muddy the line a lot because we have to remember this was shot as a TV pilot and we don't actually know how it would have gone if it went to series. Lynch like has gone on the record to be like, oh, I didn't know where anything was going. I was just setting up the promise of more stories. So like, we don't know if that was just like, oh, we're trying to create this hyper stylized reality akin to Twin Peaks. Or, oh, we don't really know if like it meant something. Like, was it always a dream?
Yeah.
There's no way for us to tell. All we know is that David Lynch came up with the last chunk of the movie after the pilot got turned down. So everything that you're looking at is like differences in makeup and stuff. They're deliberate choices, but half of them are just like reinterpreting something he had already made. What I will say is that the final product is very brilliant because it takes the hokey, over-the-top acting of the pilot and gives it a motivation, which is it's a dream. It's a idealized reality. The Naomi Watts character is re-envisioning her girlfriend who left her as a helpless person that needs her and relies on her. You know, it's up to Betty to dress Rita. It's up to Betty to find out who Rita is, you know.
It's just like the movies.
It's just like the movies.
Come on, it'll be just like in the movies.
The very community theater acting.
Yeah.
Which, again, not originally, like, as far as we know, there wasn't a reason for it. It was originally just how Naomi Watts played the character to David Lynch's specifications. We don't know why, but now we do, kind of. Like, after it became a movie, we know why, but, like, we never would have... That's the thing that keeps fascinating me about Mulholland Drive is that, like, the pilot was its own thing.
You could tell that first scene, you know, the car crash and getting introduced to Betty and Rita sneaking into the apartment. That felt like a TV show.
You know, I wrote this note down. Thank you for reminding me. We like to say that movie felt like a very movie to us. We always say something like that.
Yeah.
And Mulholland Drive really is like one of the most TV things ever. Like the setup to Mulholland Drive is so television.
It did feel like that. Like
Yeah.
Even like in terms of like looks and like pacing of it
You
a
could
little
almost
bit.
feel like the commercial where it would fade to commercial.
Yeah.
Voice.
Yeah.
I don't know who I am. Fade.
She falls asleep in the bushes. That was like a...
Oh, that was such a hard fade to like a commercial break. Coming up next. But that's the beauty of it. And that's kind of like the genius of David Lynch is he took it and he ran with it. He took something that felt very stagey and artificial. And he was like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, she literally says...
It'll be just like the movies.
It'll be just like the movies. And she says, oh, we can be other people.
We'll pretend to be someone we
Yeah.
aren't.
It's like...
Yeah. Really great. Naomi Watts with the acting there was so pitch perfect. It'll sound disparaging, but it reminds me of people we know, like the way they act on screen. And I'm just like, word.
Call them out.
No, nobody will. They don't watch this, so they'll never. That I could say it, but no, I'm not. I'm not going to talk about people we haven't spoken to in years. But it's so funny, and she's so good. She was actually, I think she was nominated for some award for this.
Was she?
I think either she was nominated or people were like, no, she should be nominated.
Yeah, I saw that in like a lot of the comments of the videos I was watching.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she should have gotten nominated for an Oscar for this or whatever.
It makes you wonder with like acting awards, like people who get nominated, do they have to put in a constantly show-stoppingly good performance, or what if part of it is like you put in a bad performance on purpose and then you flip the gear at the right time? You know, is it do you want the baseball player who constantly hits doubles, or do you want the guy who hits the like game-winning home run?
You want the game-winning home run.
Yeah, it's sexier. That's Lynch, baby.
That's Lynch, baby.
In all seriousness, it is Lynch. No, that reminds me of the scene where Betty meets Rita in the shower. I made a note of how uncinematic that scene was.
Oh, yeah, that you couldn't even see her?
No, like
there was her at all?
Any other director has Betty open the door in one shot. She hears the shower and she's like, what's going on? Yeah. And then she walks through. Maybe we get shots of Naomi Watts' feet on the tile as she nears it. We get a peek at Rita before Betty does. You know, it's very cinematic. There's a lot of movement. She just sees her. And it's not cinematic. And That is Lynch to a T. He knows how to play things pedestrian. And then the things that should be dramatic but are played pedestrian are one way. And then things that should be normal but are not, they suddenly hit so much harder. Like he knows how to turn it on and when to turn it on, and it always works to great effect. For example, there's the scene where the director is told that he has to cast the fictitious Camilla Rhodes in his movie, which is wonderful. It's 100% just Diane being jealous of Camilla and saying, no, she got it because there was like this secret Hollywood ring forcing him to cast her.
Right.
You know,
this is the girl.
This is the girl. And that scene is a very mundane thing played completely with suspense and drama. It's the character drinking the espresso, the close-ups, and it's so dramatic. And it's just freaking hilarious. You know?
That was a very Lynch. That gave me a lot of Twin Peaks vibes.
Yeah.
Seeing that.
Also, the guy who drinks the espresso, random trivia, is Angelo Badalamenti, who did the music for this, Twin Peaks, and a lot of other Lynch projects.
Shit, cool.
Yeah. Lynch loves working with his non-actors. He even got one of the guys, he wrote some of Twin Peaks. He worked, I think he was like a producer on Wild at Heart. He was the cowboy.
Yeah. That was mentioned in one of the videos.
Obvious non-actor.
Yeah. He apparently what was the fun fact about him? The same clothes that one of the first like Hollywood like Western actors wore in a movie.
That's cool.
So that was like the inspiration from the cowboy. You know, he had that and he wore it, and allegedly, I don't know if this guy on YouTube knows what the fuck he's talking about, but it was.
Do
like,
we ever?
Yeah, right. Who knows? I mean, I have a little bit, for some reason in my head, people on YouTube have more like validity than someone on like TikTok or something like that.
Well, you know, they do.
Yeah.
Because they usually take longer than a minute to get something wrong.
Right. Yeah. Longer than the maximum a minute and a half or whatever. I think it's like 7 minutes.
You can post longer stuff now on TikTok, but they don't.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, the thing I wanted to say about the cowboy is it's obvious he's a non-actor. And the trivia I had that I thought you were going to share is that apparently he struggled to remember his lines. So Justin Theroux had to hold dummy cards up for him. So there you go. Dummy cards being just literally like giant poster boards with the lines written on them.
What a nice guy.
What a stand-up guy. What a thorough young Justin. A weird sentence to say.
People do say like, oh, he's thorough, or like he's a real, you know.
That Justin. What a thorough young man. Justin, hold the cards up higher. One other thing, just to try and get us back on track, that I want to bring out is because this was envisioned as a TV pilot, we were talking about how it feels very TV-ish. One thing I really loved is a lot of the framing for the pilot part of the movie is very strictly like center framed. You notice that? I think I told you to keep an eye out for it.
You told me that. I didn't like really absorb that when I was watching it though. Because I thought the pilot ended, what'd you say, like 30 minutes into it? I thought that was the end.
You were just like,
and after that I was like, okay, we're shooting, this is a movie now.
So originally, here's some more trivia for you. The pilot, he sold ABC on like a 2-hour pilot, which means hour and a half with however much for commercials. And he started completing a cut that was closer to 2 hours. So they were like, well, could we maybe make it a 3-hour pilot? You know, because like 1 hour of commercials for a 2-hour thing. And they're like, no, it's got to be 2 hours.
Yeah.
So he started just cutting stuff left and right. And as a person that watched, I didn't sit down and watch it, admittedly. I skipped around. I, walked in and out of the room because I'd just seen the movie.
Yeah.
The pilot does not flow. And it shows. Stuff like Betty getting to the airport, you literally see her just walking out with the lady, and then it cuts to her talking to Coco.
Shit.
Yeah. And it's such a shame because that is one of my favorite parts of the movie when she walks out with these people and she's like, thanks, guys. I'll never forget you. Gee, shucks. And then the old people get in the car and they fucking are just smiling.
These fucking weird ass faces patting each other on the knees so aggressively.
That's where my David Lynch love came from. It's the stuff like that. It's like the almost so saccharine you're disgusted, and then he completely deflates it by going sinister. And that wasn't what I was trying to talk about, but I wanted to bring that up. No, what I was trying to talk about is it was very center framed. And I love that. It really sells the unreality of this because it's like almost rejecting cinematic language a little bit. You can still frame stuff well in 4:3, but like the second you take that 4:3 composition and you open it back up to 16:9, it's the second like something breaks in the framing.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, look at like a lot of TV shows from the end of the century, starting of the 21st century, have this problem. Ally McBeal, season 2 was broadcast in widescreen, and seasons 2 through 5 have this problem where everything is just centered. Even when it isn't centered, like the framing, even when it is like slightly cast left or right, it's very much within like, oh, this has to be shown on a 4:3 television, you know? And The West Wing is another show, a lot of like HBO from the era. A lot of this stuff wasn't like seen by most people in 16:9 because TVs weren't, like they were, but like not largely.
Yeah.
So it kind of sells the unreality more. And I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I feel like once Lynch returned to the project and shot the After Dream stuff, I feel like he did start to use framing in a more interesting way where it's like, no, we're going to use the whole fucking, frame now because this isn't going to be on television. And it's just cool. I'm a sucker for that stuff. This is what I like about movies.
That's cool that, I feel like we have like a discussion like this on every episode where we talk about what we like most about movies or some of the things that we value most about movies. I've always really, really like been into performances.
Yeah.
Like so much, like where it's like performances have always been the thing where I'm like, wow, but just blown away by. And I did get that with this movie, which is another reason why I really enjoyed it. I mean, everybody was good, but Naomi Watts stood out to me, especially when
She's really good in this.
When she wakes up from the dream and we see Diane for like how she's depressed.
Yeah.
And it was like, I kind of like was a little shook when she sees Camilla in the kitchen, or she hallucinates seeing her in the kitchen. She's like, oh, you've come back. And then she's like happy, and then that kind of like fades into like fucking madness. She starts shaking again like she did in the movie theater.
Yeah, and I loved that because it is the one thing you're told as an actor, you fucking were in the classroom when we learned this with me, is like when you're on camera, go small. Don't do big gestures unless you want people to laugh. And the way she turns from like confusion and frustration to just uninhibited joy is so cartoony. It's kind of like a dog. You ever see those videos of like a dog seeing their owner for the first time?
Yeah.
It is like that almost. And
it switches to like fear, like just being straight up. It's very, very frightened.
It's so happy she's afraid.
Yeah.
And you, as an audience member, you're like, why is she acting like this? I know she was playing everything big before. And then you're like, because she wishes she was streaming still. And she understands that, Laura Harring's character is dead. And it's so good. There was another moment in her performance. I don't know if you caught it. It's during the dream stuff. So it's Betty. Okay. Betty looking at Rita. And the way she lingers when they're looking at each other. And you're just like, wow, for the whole thing, the Betty character is like, we've been joking, she's so gee shucks. And very quickly, there are these moments that let in the fact that she's attracted to Rita. I don't know. I just think it's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, right before they sleep together, I'll say like when she says she loves her, that was like I was confused because at that point you don't know Diane or whatever. So right before they sleep together, she's like, "Oh, I'm in love with you." I was like, "Huh?" Like it doesn't really make sense. Like, how could you be in love with her? Because you don't really know her. Like,
you just met her.
Don't know her at all. Like, and besides not having just met her, you legitimately don't know who this person is. You you guys still haven't cracked the code yet. So to be like, oh yeah, I'm in love with you, I was just like, that took me, that shocked me a little. And I was like, okay, there's something going on here. I didn't get that. I just kind of thought that she was like this naive person that was just helping her out, like super caring and all that, to a fault maybe, because like in the beginning when she says that, she's like, oh, I just spoke to my aunt, and she says she doesn't know who you are. I thought you worked with my aunt. It's like, dude, like,
Oh,
what?
I actually got like, I wondered because she was like, wait, do you live with my aunt? Like, how do you know my aunt? Why are you in her shower?
Mm-hmm.
I got the sense that like Betty was almost like trying to put out a feeler to see if Rita was gay.
Okay. I did not.
Are you friends with my aunt?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Are you my aunt's girlfriend, maybe?
Yeah, like kind of like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because like, I don't know how like people like, do people like I know friends have keys to their friends' house. Like I know that is a thing people do.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, do you stop at your friend's house to take a shower after you're in a car accident? I don't know. Is that normal human behavior?
Yeah. Even the way she was answering her a little bit, it did get justified in my head when she told her that she was in an accident, but like,
yeah,
it was still she was still really cryptic about it. She's like, there was an accident. She's like, oh my God, are you okay? She's like, I'm taking a shower. She's like, oh, my bad. It's like, no, man.
It's almost like
this is your place.
It's almost like a Fallout dialogue tree where there are like 3 options.
Yeah.
Charisma.
Yeah. Right. Do you know my aunt? I'm in the shower.
Yeah. Option 1 is I'm in the shower. Charisma. Why don't you come in here and let me tell you? Number 3 is just David Lynch. I'm in the shower. We have a lot of fun with my David Lynch impression.
Yeah. One of my favorite impressions. David Lynch. I'm getting spoiled. It seems I'm getting Arnold impressions.
It's not
David
so
Lynch.
much you, so much as like it's easy to do. It's the garnish that everything needs. The David Lynch impression, for what it's worth, isn't a good David Lynch even, so much as it's like a halfway decent Gordon Cole, which is his character from Twin Peaks.
Okay.
Because he just shouts everything, and it's super, all you have to do. Let's teach everyone how to do a Gordon Cole impersonation. You just scream everything in a nasally voice, and then every so often you add an extra emphasis to what you say. It's almost like iambic pentameter.
That's a good metric or whatever you want to call it.
Fear the Ides of March.
That's good because he does have that kind of like rhythm to the way that he talks. At least like in
that isn't iambic pentameter, by the way. But
what?
Iambic pentameter is Shakespeare speak, and it's not every other syllable. It's iambic pentameter is something like you stress every other syllable, and then when you hit 5 syllables, you go back like to not. So like, not emphasized, emphasized, not emphasized, emphasized, not emphasized, not emphasized, emphasized.
That
something like that.
That rule or whatever. It sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is.
That's Shakespearean acting.
Did we ever learn that?
I did.
What?
I learned it in high school, though.
Oh, I didn't learn it in high school. I was thinking of college.
It's literally you just kind of do like you can cheat the pentameter, like, but literally nasally voice, scream, pentameter.
That's cool.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. David Lynch, if he was really into tub thumping. Huge Chumbawamba fan, if you didn't know. Oh man, David Lynch on set, man, sitting behind the director's chair with his megaphone. Motherfucker screams tub thumping lyrics at the cast. Mr. Lynch, it's time for lunch. We're union. I get knocked down.
Me pretending I know what tub thumper is.
It's a Chumbawamba song from the 90s. You're not missing much.
Chumbawamba.
You're not missing much.
Isn't that like Bart's catchphrase or some shit?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I don't know what you mean. I'm 16 years old. I've never heard of that before.
I'm a zillennial. What do you mean? You're on the TikTok. Are you in a clock?
Fuck. Oh
David Lynch doesn't know what the fuck TikTok is.
Yes, he does. I bet he does. He watches movies on there.
I just bless David Lynch. Bless him to his soul. He is too good for this world.
Yeah.
It's Monday, May 26th, 2024. And if you can believe it, it's a Monday once again.
So fucking, why doesn't he do the weather report anymore?
I miss that. That shit used to like, that was like have a morning coffee
Yeah.
and listen to your senile grandpa yell at clouds time.
Yo, that shit was, I didn't know I guess I'd probably known who he was at that point, but I enjoyed that so much. Who do you think has the stronger opinion on these things? David Lynch on watching movies on your phone? Or,
Well, he's come back around on that.
Really?
Yeah, for what it's worth, as many people have like completely gotten too used to yelling at me about in the comments of one of my videos. By the way, guys, that was never like, it was a joke. It was never meant to be literal. I'm pretty sure I say I'm fine if you watch a movie on your phone. But no, he's come around on it because that was like in 2007. Like,
when he said that?
Yeah, he said in like 2007 or 2008.
Shit, technology has advanced since then.
You can absolutely watch a movie on your phone. I make a whole point to say you can watch almost every movie ever made. Another point that people like to throw in my face because of, what about lost films? Well, if the movie's lost, you're not watching it anywhere. So I shouldn't have to like front load the sentence with that.
It's like, if you can watch it, it is not lost.
Yeah, exactly. Like, of all the movies I've ever seen, there has only been one time I have been unable to find something on YouTube, Dailymotion, or rental or streaming. And it's for the movie Joe and Max, which was a fucking Showtime original movie from like 2000. Yeah, it's about Joe Louis and Max Schmeling. So like, I don't know. I don't mean to sound like a dick or bitter, but like, yeah, I know films get lost, but when the only time that ever has affected me has been for this highly obscure TV movie, like, I'm sorry, but like, it's fine. The sentence is fine.
Yeah.
Back to Mulholland Drive, and we should probably tie things down or wrap things up or fuck it. I don't know. Take it to the farm. Like, no, I mean, I'm really glad we watched this movie for today.
Me too. I finally saw it.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to, and I'm glad that I've finally seen what can a lot of people consider to be one of the best movies of all time. And I can confidently say that now that I've seen it and, you know, have some understanding of it, I am not going to watch. I can look at the reviews of it now, because that's one of the things I do when we watch anything. Like, I wonder what other people thought about this. And I'm curious to what other people think about it, not what their interpretations of it are, because I'm already kind of exhausted by that.
Right.
Like 4 video essays deep into it, one of them being
it's like the
guy
man
you
says,
don't like.
just let it wash over you.
Yeah, just let it wash over you.
Well, I also like, I agree with you. I love reading other people's interpretations of movies and stuff, but it also bugs me too, because it's like, well, I watched the movie to feel something, not to be told how to feel.
Yeah.
So I try to do that too. So I get what you mean. And I'm really curious to know, now that you've seen this, I know you technically saw Twin Peaks before, like the pilot, but now that you've seen a Lynch movie, are you a Lynch guy now? Like, can I like be transparent? Can I be real with you?
Yeah.
Are you going to text me at like strange hours of the night to be like, yo, I'm about to watch some fucking Twin Peaks. What you up to, girl?
It'll probably be, yo, I'm about to watch Blue Velvet.
Yeah.
Let me know if you want to live text this thing.
No, exactly. I await that moment. Don't do Blue Velvet, because we're going to do it on this show soon.
Okay.
You know, like I said, Criterion 4K is coming out. So
oh yeah, true.
Nick needs to wait for that, because he's a little bitch when it comes to buying those.
But yeah, I mean, I told you I'm like a Lynch fan adjacent before, I guess, or like what I say.
You're a weekend warrior, as they used to call them.
Yeah.
You know what that means, right?
The weekend warrior, is that in reference to like the gym or some shit like that?
That's the weekend warriors, like people who go to the gym on the weekend, people who only party on the weekend, people who play video games on the weekend.
It's me. I'm the SpongeBob meme where it's like Squidward is in his house looking at Patrick and SpongeBob having fun outside, and they're like Lynch fans, and I'm on the inside. It's like, damn, that sure does look fun to know and love Lynch.
I thought you were gonna say you were Terrence Howard in Iron Man, and like he walks up to the Iron Man suit, but it's labeled David Lynch movies. You're like, next time, baby.
Next time, baby.
Next time, baby.
That's Lynch, baby. Just Terrence fucking Howard. That's Lynch, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I have felt like I'm a
Wait, real quick. Marty, yo, Marty. Fucking old man can barely hear me. Who is that? That's Lynch, baby. Yeah, he's right. Okay, continue.
God damn it.
The funny thing is there's a medium shot like for me right here.
Yeah.
So like in theory, I could also have put Martin Scorsese like tilted here and covering up like half of my shot too.
Just Marty has been here the whole time.
Yeah. The Scorsese came from inside the house. Well, it's Scorsese, but I love saying Scorsese.
Scorsese. That sounds more Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think I have been I would never call myself a fan of Lynch before now, but I have been a fan of him, the person, the guy. Cuz there's always like people not joking about him, but like he's just a character.
It helps that for like the 8 years you've known me,
Yeah.
I'll inevitably like on set with you just start doing the Lynch voice.
Yeah.
This is a real thing I've done where like I've shot stuff with like Mike and his brother, and like I'll just be like, all right, that was not a bad take, but do it again. Only good this time.
What did fucking Naomi Watts say that he would say? He's like, all right, now really rip his balls off on this one. It's like you got him by your hand right now. Now really rip him off.
But like that's again, David Lynch is just like he's the coolest person ever. Aside from some stuff that I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But like he is so cool and he's so funny, and even the thing like he has this thing where he calls Kyle MacLachlan Kale.
Yeah, you told me that.
It's like apparently it's like a Dino De Laurentiis thing that he just started doing. He mispronounces the actors' names on Perfect. Like Naomi is Naomi, stuff like that. And that's something I do where like our friend Sam was Samantha instead of Samantha. Our friend Jeanette was Yanette. And it's like, yeah,
There's a lot of different, I don't think you've given me a wrong name.
I occasionally call you Raquel.
Yeah.
But
true.
That's just because that's like an in joke. That isn't even me doing the Lynch thing. But yeah, no, I'm so happy to hear you're going to like slowly but surely check out Lynch things.
Yeah.
And if you ever are going to watch Twin Peaks, why am I punching I'm like so angry. I'm so angry at the thought that it isn't what we're about to do. Like, why aren't we doing? Ow!
Why aren't we watching Twin Peaks right now?
Yeah. Hey man, sorry. You got Twin Peaks on Blu-ray?
No.
Be pretty cool if you did. Sorry, I just became Matt McConaughey.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I did really enjoy the movie, and I'm gonna watch it again. Probably not tonight, but I'm gonna watch it again soon.
I even said it to Sierra last night because she was like a little miffed that we did this without her.
Oh man!
Like, whatever. We're gonna. Yeah, she loves this movie.
Okay.
Like I said, Raekwon. Like I said at the start of this episode, anytime I've met a film person that hasn't seen Mulholland Drive, I usually go out of my way to show them Mulholland Drive. It's literally like the second date I went on with one of my exes was to watch. Well, second movie date.
Oh, okay.
It was like first movie date. I was kind of like, oh, you're into movies? Like, oh, let's watch a movie sometime. And she picked some Vincent Price horror movie. It's like Shakespeare themed. Pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Second one was it was a pretty good.
I was just kidding.
I think it was a Roger Corman movie. May he rest in peace. But second movie, I was like, all right, you like Twin Peaks. I like David Lynch. We're just going in the deep end. We're just going to watch Mulholland Drive. Second movie date. And yeah, that's like my thing. I show that to people.
That's good. Good shit.
Good shit.
Good soup. I don't think I've never been with, I think we talked about this. I'm not going to go on a tangent, but I've never been with anyone that was like a movie person. Never.
Man, you're missing out.
Not one time.
As a person happily dating a person that is a bigger movie fan than I am, arguably, it is a delight.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, this is deep and this might get cut for all we know, but I'll never forget Mike. This is like a month or two before he died. We were talking and he met Sierra like a month before he died. And we were talking about it. And I was like, so like, does she pass the test? Like, does she pass the best friend test? Kind of just like a conversation. I'm not taking it seriously. He's like, dude, she knows as much about movies as you do. And I'm like, she might actually know more. She knows more. It's like she's seen more movies than me. And yeah, we were talking about it, and he's like, I didn't even know that was possible. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't see that many movies until a few years ago, guys. But it's cool. It's fun. Yeah. At the very least, what the best date night is for both of you.
Yeah, very true. I've taken exes to the movies and stuff, and it's never
I've broken up with people because of bad trips to the movies. For what it's worth. It sounds petty, but like when movies are a big part of your life and the person like doesn't talks at full volume during a movie, this isn't going to work in the long run.
Oh yeah, some shit
so you're
like
not
that
wasting
like,
people's time. Yeah.
The talking is crazy. I'm not with that shit.
I remember I saw Shazam with someone on a date. It was months after it came out. I just caught like a matinee in the city, and she was talking at full volume. Someone shushed her, and she still was like, "No, fuck you, mind your own business." And I was like, "Yeah, this isn't gonna work."
Yeah, that's a red flag though. Like talking full volume during a movie, you're not even gonna try to be hush hush about it.
Yeah, like hush hush talking. Okay, fine, but like.
I took a date to see the fucking Dragon Ball.
You told me this story. I love this story.
She was knocked out. Like it was totally asleep. But that I could understand. But I think I took a date to see Creed 3 too, and that was like another sleeping. There's like just always like that, but it's never for us. It's for me, 100%. Like,
I've had movies be the test for me. By the way,
really?
Yeah, one of my exes, and we're still friends to this day. We went to see Mission Impossible Fallout together on opening night.
I remember this.
And the only thing we really knew about each other, like up to that point, was that we were both like Mets fans. That was literally like the extent of it. And we went to the movie, and like we both went in just expecting like, oh, maybe we'll talk during the movie. Maybe we'll just like goof off, chat, whatever. And we ended up getting like actually sucked into the movie.
Yeah, right.
So that was a good one. But I also found out like a month or two ago, like this was pretty recent, we were talking about that. And she's like, I only said Mission Impossible 6 because neither of us had seen an MI movie up to that point. She was like, I only picked Mission Impossible 6 to see if you were a pretentious film guy or if you actually knew how to watch fun movies.
That's a good test though.
Yeah, it's not a bad test. It's kind of funny.
It's
kind of fucked up, but
a little fucked up. But it's no different from your test of like
it really isn't
like going to see how you behave in the movie theater.
My test isn't like a premeditated
test. It's like
my test is just like this is the breaking point. And I have like a clipboard. Talks during the movie. Didn't ask if I wanted the centered seat. All that stuff. Did not offer me the popcorn.
Yeah, that's
did not want to arrive 20 minutes early to play the Terminator Salvation arcade cabinet that's been there for 20 years. That's a deal breaker.
That's a good one. I thought you were going to talk about the trailers.
No, I'm getting to a point where I'm starting to go to movies later, so I miss the trailers.
Yeah, I mean, I was not like that before my most recent ex. I was like that. Before then, I'm like, I got to get there for the 20, whatever. But then we'd always go to movies late all the time, like with my, and so, but we would get there for the movie on time, but I'd miss the trailers, and like for a while I'd be like, God damn it, like all grumpy, like fuck, I missed the trailers.
Imagining Raekwon in his kitchen with her. Why won't you talk to me anymore? Because I didn't see the previews. Smashes china on the table. Damn it. I'll let you do what you want to do. Why won't you let me be a man?
I wanted to see the same trailer I saw on my phone.
These are untenable living situations.
Yeah. Damn.
It is such a pleasure to know what the coming attractions are. I already know for a fact that I'm going to have to use the -6 dB backup of my mic.
Why?
The amount of Lynch voice I've blown out on this. Yeah. Let's put a pretty bow on David Lynch and Martin Scorsese.
Are we allowed to just, we should just play him eating a donut for just.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
let's do that. Okay, wait. Let's we'll put him right here. And sorry, Marty. But yeah. So anyway, that brings us to the end of this episode. We got off on a lot of tangents at the end.
We did.
I hope a lot of them make it in.
Right.
At any rate, we hope you enjoyed it. If you yourself have a glaring admission that you'd like to share with us, or perhaps tell us a little bit about your first experience watching Mulholland Drive or David Lynch in general, please let us know. David, honey, you got to chew. And
It's like, man, he's really going to town.
damn, yeah. I thought you fed him this morning.
Meanwhile, it's just like a loop of him just taking the 2 bites. Like, I think he only takes like 2 bites.
It's not even like HD footage. It's a GIF. At any rate, yeah, we hope you enjoyed this episode, y'all. And yeah, bye.